What's up, y'all? My name is Karina Cook. I am a tax and financial strategist. I'm a CEO, a businesswoman, a faith-led businesswoman at that. Welcome to Evolving Out Loud, y'all. This is a podcast. We're going to talk about real stuff. We're going to talk about anything from mindset, finance, money, business, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. So, I am your host, Karina Cook, tax and financial strategist, and I am here to talk to you and get down to the nitty gritty and go through what it actually takes to lead, to build something that's meaningful, and to do it without being stressed and bottled down, y'all. It's important to know that. I mean, that's what we all want to do in life, right? I would hope most of us would want to build something that's meaningful. And, doing it in a way that you're not losing your peace, that you're not losing your sanity, because it does happen to many of us. And so, with this, I want you to know whether you're, scaling your business, trying to grow and figure out your finances, or even trying to figure out how to become a better leader, you're in the right place. And whether you are in the kitchen listening to this, driving from work or to somewhere, or just sitting there in your feelings, it doesn't matter. We are here. We're going to evolve out loud together. So, I want to use this first episode, which is obviously the pilot, to talk about obviously evolving out loud. What is evolving out loud? How did evolving out loud come about? And what are you guys going to expect from this platform, this podcast, moving forward into some of these other episodes and seasons to come? So, evolving out loud is just what you hear, guys. It is just that. Evolve out loud. I'm a process person and I do things, and people who know me know that I talk. Okay. I'm a speaker at heart. When I was a child, my family members used to say, "You're going to be a lawyer or something." And that was obviously not in my plans, but that goes to show that I just naturally love to talk and empower and to help people see something in themselves that they didn't see, or to empower them to become a better person or get through their situation and get to feeling better than they were before I met them. And so, of course, I'm not no savior. I'm not here to be a savior, but I'm here to help people with the gift that God has given me and use it effectively as a leader. So, I think when we talk about evolving out loud, you guys, this wasn't just something that I thought, like, let's do a podcast to be, because podcasts are popular. This is definitely not that platform. This platform, and I want to let y'all know that I don't have it all figured out. So we're going to scratch that. And that's why this podcast is here, because nobody has it figured out. And if you do, I'm concerned. Real life, because why are you the only one? And so this is something that I feel like I started this because I'm evolving. I'm always evolving. And I know I'm not the only one, y'all. Seriously. And for me, I'm the person who I process. And the way I process is actually very funny, because I talk through things out loud. And so I might have an idea or a thought or whatever it may be, and be processing and talking. And there's people around me. So they may even think, "Oh, yeah, she's doing this." And then little do they know, like, I have already moved on to something else. That's me, though. I'm a processor out loud. And, it has its ups and downs about it, obviously, because as you process out loud, there's things that you just say that people take, and sometimes they take it out of context, or they may think certain ways about your process. But hey, that's my process, and I'm evolving, and I will continue to evolve. Now, that's the thing. We all continue to evolve, you guys. I don't think everyone has it figured out. Like I said before, there's always a there's always a point in time where you're growing and you're doing something that is different. You're doing something that allows you to grow past where you were before. And I think that's the important part that people miss, is that it's okay to go through things because you're going to go through them. It's just, how do you get through them, and what was the process for you to get through them? So, you know, even the podcast is not to preach. It's not to set this unrealistic standard. It's not to, show someone that, oh, I have this different than you. No, scratch it. Okay. It's for, you know, us to, like figure out what it is that you want to accomplish, or when you're going through trials and tribulations in business and entrepreneurship, because obviously there's a lot of trial and obviously there's a lot of tribulation. As you're going through this, how do you pivot? How do you express yourself in a way that's going to make sense? And how do you scale your business in the process of life, in the process of things? And so, with that, like, this this is something that I feel is like going to it's going to help people feel a sense of purpose, right? One of the reasons why I started this is because I got tired of feeling like it was like, okay, I'm a person that evolves as I talked, right? I'm tired of the surface level stuff. The surface level stuff is just the stuff when we talk about surface level of faith, of finance, of money, entrepreneurship, talking about that without being able to go deeper. For me, there's so many levels of understanding life and understanding your money, understanding what you go through in business, and also ultimately what you go through in business or in personal reflects in your business. And I think that that is the most important thing for me, is to get beyond that surface level understanding with people, that hey, there's more to it, there's layers. You guys may hear me talk about pieces to the puzzle of finance. There are so many pieces to the puzzle of finance, so if you don't have one piece together, then it all can fall apart very easily. And once I've seen that there were different levels to finance. There's personal finance, there's budgeting, there's forecasting, taxes, insurances, assets, real estate, budgeting, if I missed that. There's accounting. There's so many levels of this. And when you are in business, it's the heart of the business. It has to be. But how do you go through that? So there's one layer of that, right? But then there's multiple layers as you dig deeper. And if one layer of this or one puzzle isn't together, then how do you put the pieces together? And then, because you're going to have something missing. And granted, all of the things won't be perfect, but when you have a foundation and you understand how to rock with that foundation, it's good, right? But then when we go over to the other things in business, that also matters. So you have finance, but then you also have leadership. You have obstacles that you go through as a professional, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, that you have to go through and pivot, like conversations, partnerships, relationships, how you feel, being burnt out. Those things matter. And so when we talk about getting beyond the surface level, again, I have to break out of the box that I am in, because I'm not just a tax strategist, right? I am an entrepreneur, I'm a CEO. And not to mention all the other things in life that I have hats for: a wife, a businesswoman, a mother. There are so many layers that I continue to have to uncover, and I go, wow, I have to get beyond this surface level thing, because that's what will hold you back. And that's ultimately, for me, I'm built off relationship, y'all. um, it's not a transactional thing for me, right? It's a relationship thing. And so when you go to the surface level of things, that's to me transactional. When you go through a relationship, that is more than surface level. That's getting deep into a lot of other things. And me as a financial and tax strategist, this is what I go through with my clients. We go through beyond the surface level, right? Of just, hey, this is what you do. See you when I see you. No, we're going through how do you feel? What makes you feel this way? How can you get past the stumbling block? What's the finance actually like deep down? How is your personal finance? Because we can't do this with this, and how do you work with your partnership? So it goes beyond that level. And that's what I mean when I say surface level, I think that when I realized that, okay, I'm not just building something, I'm literally becoming, evolving through all of these things. And how can I get my voice out to show people that in this other side of Karina that allows for you to feel I can evolve and I can go through these things and still be successful in life, pivot and go through being who I am, who I want to truly be, or who I'm trying to what I'm trying to achieve in life. And obviously, for everyone, that's going to be different. And so I think that's like important. Um, I think that, well, I believe that alignment, being in alignment is one of those things where it may not be in alignment with everything, but as you're starting to straighten up your path and your vision of what you see and how you interact with people, the decisions you make, your values, and stay true to your foundation of what your values are, then as you're evolving and you're growing and you're going through tests in life, then you will actually overcome those things and you will be in alignment with most of the things that you're going towards. And so for many of us, like I said, it's different. For me, being in alignment is me being faithful, right? I'm a Christian woman. I believe in God, and ultimately that's my highest alignment. I want to everything that I do, I want to be in alignment with that. My values and morals are aligned with that. So if anything is coming towards that and it's going to compromise that, then I have to cut it off, right? And I have to make sure that I then get back in alignment or that I stay in alignment on the road that I was going on. And so things may take you from that, right? Some of these things we'll talk about, we won't just talk about the wins. We'll talk about having wisdom. We talk about pivoting. We talk about the losses and how to overcome those losses, right? How to gracefully overcome those losses that happen. Now, many of you guys are listening are entrepreneurs. And so obviously being an entrepreneur is not the easiest thing. I think when I start to we look at the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur, it's a little bit different, right? I feel as though business owners, they have a set, like there's a service that they're providing, and this service is black and white, right? You're exchanging your service for money. You are working with the proven system and a method. Usually, business owners will have structure to certain things, like we talk about restaurants. There's just a way that they go about it, right? We talk about construction companies, roofers, marketing agencies. There's like a lane that they're in. With entrepreneurship, it's a little bit different because entrepreneurs, there's a lot of risk because we're taking something and we're putting get together a concept or a proof of concept for something that's going to solve somebody's problem in many different ways. And a lot of that time is coming up with things that we just make up, or not make up. I guess I'm looking for, we're coming up with something that may not have been done already, a new method to help solve someone's problems, to solve a problem. We come up with frameworks and systems, and that's the risk because it may or may not work. And a lot of the times, entrepreneurs, because we are visionaries and we see things and we want to go at it, there's different things that our hands are in. So imagine being a entrepreneur slash CEO, right? A CEO, business owner, whatever. I like to call it a CEO because CEOs think as a visionary, but they think with their business in mind. They lead in a certain way. They lead their team. They plan ahead, like strategies. They have different type of concepts. So as you become an entrepreneur slash CEO, just imagine you're forced to be reckoned with all of those things that happen during entrepreneurship to get to the CEO level is trying. Okay. Entrepreneurs tend to be hustlers, right? We go, we know how to get it, but now you have to stop and think about and assess all those things in your life that you're going through and how to slow it down and process and put some structure and strategies in place so that you can ultimately run a successful business, entrepreneur, CEO lifestyle. And so hopes of getting that out of this, you guys, is a whole nother thing. And I think because because of the growth that you're gonna go through, it's okay to like take a moment and say, this is where I am. And so that's where I am, is I'm going through growth. I'm doing it with you guys. Growth is getting uncomfortable and saying, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. Um, when I started this podcast, I remember having a conversation with a couple of my partners, and I was like, listen, y'all, I'm started. Because everyone had been asking me for a while to start the podcast. And I said, okay, well, when I'm ready. And I started to get a little bit more comfortable again talking because I took a long break on doing like content and stuff. And I said, this feels good. I love it. I love the motivational part, encouraging people. And so that's what we're here to do. And that's what you're going to see more of, those kind of conversations and pivot moments and exploring and getting down to the root cause of what it takes to be the best that you can be and getting in different perspectives. So you guys will see me, right? This is the podcast that I am hosting, obviously. And, from time to time, I may have a guest, but for the most part, this is going to be a journey that we're rocking through together for this season. And I'm excited to like go through this evolve process with you guys, um, because y'all are in for a treat. Y'all are in for a treat with real conversations about like how I've pivoted through moments. Um, and I want to get this clear because also this is not about like how do you chase money. Okay. When we're talking about finance and we're talking about money and entrepreneurship, it's not necessarily to chase money. That's not my goal out of this. It's to obviously give you a foundation to rock on. So if we talk about strategy and finance, I think it's important to have that mindset, but to know and start thinking about what it is that you truly want as an entrepreneur. Why are you doing this thing? Why are you running around making things happen? Why are you taking risks? Why are you leaving your family to go work, to go do a thing, to go build something for whatever that is? Why are you truly doing it? Is it only to make money? Or is it to build a legacy for your family, to take care of your family so they don't have to worry about things? To take care of your kids' schooling and pay for their college and tuition, or make sure that you have life insurance set for them, but do it in a way that's going to make sense for you, right? How do you build a generation that's going to, and I'm talking, when I say generation, you guys, I'm not thinking about only my kids. I'm thinking in the lines of Abraham. If y'all read the Bible or have read the Bible, Abraham had many sons. God has blessed Abraham. We are blessed because of him. And those generations and generations and generations that God had blessed Abraham with because he was obedient and true to nature, when God asked him and called him to do something, it literally blessed his children's 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 children. So taking yourself out of the current situation, like all these things we deal with currently, ultimately, this is going to be the past right after. So you want to think, you want to be future thinking, right? Thinking about my children, children, children. Now, when I go through this moment right now, this moment that I'm getting through is not just for my kids. It's ultimately beyond that. And that's how, when you're evolving, you're doing it for those people. Well, I know I'm not going to talk about just y'all. That's why I'm doing it, right? In my head, that's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for those reasons. So when I set this up, it's because I want not only my children's children, but generations that after I leave this earth or even while I'm here, they can see this, right? And that's so powerful to me in knowing that someone can benefit that deeply from me just saying yes to something. For me to say, hey, I'm going to tell you how this went for me, or I'm going to help you in this area because this is my skill set and I think that this will be very beneficial. So, we will be talking about taxes and breaking down some of those things that people are afraid to talk about or don't know about. Uh, some of that may be tax strategy, obviously. We'll talk about tax strategy. My most important thing is when you're as a tax strategist, I don't help people create strategies so that they can take the money and put it anywhere. No, the money that you have left, instead of paying the IRS, why not take that money and then either invest it back into your business or use that to either build a legacy, a long lasting legacy, and generational wealth for your future generations to come. So ultimately, that's what we're thinking about when we think about tax strategy is why pay the IRS this money when we can invest this money into be helping you in the becoming. So when we do tax strategy, that's what will be ultimately the lens that I will be talking to you in why you can do certain type of strategies and what makes sense. We'll also be talking about finance in general, like personal finance, because a lot of the times how you operate in your personal life and your personal finance will also reflect over to your business life. And trust me, everybody can see it. And sometimes you can mask it, but ultimately, not for too long, right? So if your personal finance is not in order, when you go to a strategist or an accountant, we can see how you manage your stuff if you're commingling. We can see if you're organized or disorganized in this area. And breaking those limiting beliefs about how you are with money, because it's not that you're bad at money. No one just wakes up as a baby and just know what money is, right? It's something that you have to practice, you have to expose yourself to, and you also have to change the way you think about it. So those are things we'll uncover with money and finance, but also mindset. Why are these mindsets here? Why do we deal with these type of limiting beliefs and mindsets around all of the business, not just finance? Um, because we can talk about having conversations or conflict resolution, putting yourself in bad positions. All these things spiral because of mindset. So we'll talk about that, and we'll also talk about leadership. Like, what does it mean to be a leader? And how are leaders? Are you born a leader? Are you made a leader? Right? Those are things that we will cover in Evolving Out Loud, and how to stay true to yourself and be faithful through it all. Now, I said this before, through and through. I'm a faithful woman. I start building my business and my lifestyle around biblical principles, and that's what gets me through all of this. Ultimately, I'm going to go down to the nitty gritty of how I live my life and how that has helped me through areas of trials, tribulations, happiness, sorrow, not understanding things, to pivoting to being on that other side of things and using that to my advantage because I have a blueprint, and that blueprint for me is the Bible. So Those are things we'll cover, and be able to like say, okay, what is this, and what does it take to run a business? What are some stumbling blocks as a entrepreneur that we go through, that some people don't come back from? So I'm excited to really just level up with this journey of podcasting, y'all. It is exciting to say the least, and I'm happy that I'm doing it with you guys. I'm happy that we are choosing to evolve through the process and to become who we are meant to be. And with all these things, I am looking forward to hearing you guys and your testimonies of how you've gotten through things, and the experiences that you've went through and learned from, or hearing your stories about how these things that we can implement can help has helped you get from here to here. That's where I'm going to be really losing it, is hearing that side of things. So I'm just happy that you know we're doing this, evolving out loud, getting clear on things that we may have not had clarity on before. And so, as we go through this, you guys stay tuned. There will be so many more episodes that we have. I'm excited to go through this journey with y'all with Evolving Out Loud. We're all evolving out loud, so why not do it together? And I need you guys to make sure that you subscribe to the channel, that you turn on those notification bells so that you can get the next episode in a timely fashion, and that we can stay in this lifeline together. And until next time, I love y'all and welcome to Evolving Out Loud. Exciting to say the least, and I'm happy that I'm doing it with you guys. Until next time, I love y'all and welcome to Evolving Out Loud.